Okay. Okay, so welcome to the Internet of Things concentration, which is it's a concentration in the computer system engineering program. Okay, I'm the director of this concentration. Really, the goal is that this thing will become a program eventually, maybe in the next couple of years. But at the moment, it's just a concentration because it takes a long time in universities to create a new program. So we start off this way and then we build up. Okay. And there's Alison over here. She is the program coordinator. And if you have questions about, registration, questions about, all kinds of things like that, she's the person to talk to and she'll help you. And you will get a copy of these slides, yes. Okay, you can take photographs if you wish, but you will get, and also it's being recorded as a video, which will be on YouTube. Okay. Okay, so this is a general slide on the Internet of Things. I'm not sure we need to go through it. Basically, the world of connected devices, and the idea is that we're going to create some new engineers, graduate engineers with a kind of very different kind of skill set who can fit into this area and do different kinds of things, right? And develop new services, architect IoT networks, and so on. And I'm not saying that all students will gradually be exactly the same. There's a lot of flexibility in this program because it covers a wide range of topics. So some students may focus more on the data side, others may be more on the devices or on security issues or whatever. Okay, that's what your degree will be. Okay, so at the moment anyway, there's a concentration in the IoT, and it's one of many similar degrees that we have in the College of Engineering. So the focus here really is to prepare our graduates for the work environment and not for future research. Okay, so the focus is on helping you, be prepared for a satisfactory career in this area. It doesn't to say that some of our graduates, like we can't have our graduates of this program obviously, but of other programs haven't gone on to do a PhD, but they're in a very small minority, okay? That's not the goal of the program. Okay, so it's obviously very new. This is the second semester. And it's a very interdisciplinary program, coming at the intersection basically of building applications, the middleware to support those applications, networking, data analytics, big data, etc. Okay, and even going down to devices, hardware, and so on. I mean, it depends where you want to focus in this area. It's still a very new area, even especially in terms of industry. A lot of companies are always looking in this area. A lot of companies that are exploring options, but there's really not an awful lot of products out there at this point. I mean, there are some areas where there's more things going on, like industrial IoT, but there's been a lot of talk about IoT, but in terms of it taking over the world and things like that, we're not quite there yet. Okay, so it's still very much an emerging area, but everybody tends to agree that's going to happen, right? Okay. So we've put together a kind of a straw man program here for this, because we are probably the first program in the US, first in university in the US to create a program like this. So there's no real models out there of what a program like this should look like. Okay, there are a few programs, as far as I know, in the UK, and maybe in China, I don't know. But I mean, but in the US, it's hasn't really happened yet. Okay, so the program structure is not static. Okay, and you can expect changes even over the next year or so. And even we've made some changes since the fall. So in terms of what even the core courses are. So it's not like other programs here which are fairly well developed and fairly stable. This one is not like that. Okay. Okay, so this is where jobs might be in this area in terms of whole huge number of vertical sectors here. energy, healthcare, transportation, so on and so on. Potentially, anyway, okay. So the goal is that during this program, the students will develop an understanding of the range of IoT technologies, architecture, and solutions, okay? And have the opportunity to develop skills and knowledge in this area so that, and these are, I'm not saying every student will get knowledge in every single one of these areas. I mean, over the course of basically eight courses, you're not going to be a specialist in data analytics, big data, security, everything, right? But most students I expect, will focus on one or more of these areas. Okay. So the degree programs are 32 semester hours. This is a mixture of 4 core and 4 elective. That's the way we set it up. There's no thesis or project requirement, although obviously you can do a project, a 4-credit project as part of the program. And the electives are going to be from the computer system engineering program itself. There's like the 2 concentrations. There's the IoT concentration, and there's the engineering software design concentration, okay, which is very much a more traditional software development concentration. And so you can take courses there out of the information systems program, the telecom networks program, engineering management, industrial engineering, electrical computer engineering, and also you can take potentially some courses outside of this college in the College of Computer Science, for example. There's a limit in terms of many courses you can take in computer science. Usually you're limited at 2 courses. Or you can take courses possibly even the School of Business if you're interested. Again, courses would need to have my approval ahead of time. Okay, so these are currently the 4 core courses. The first course is a course on Java. Okay.
So these are required courses?
They're required. They're required if you haven't taken them before. Like if you know Java.
I have to take 4 courses?
If you don't know Java, first one is a Java course, right? Okay. If you already know Java, okay?
Yeah, I take this course this semester.
You're taking this course, right?
Yes.
Yes.
6200.
Right, that's a good yes, because because it's a prerequisite for a lot of other courses, okay. Not just these other, for example, our connected devices course, which it's a requirement for that, because we're using Java in that this semester, but for a lot of courses in the computer system engineering program and in the IS program as well, the info program as well. So a lot of those courses require Java, okay, like cloud computing. There's a whole bunch of them require Java. And Professor Bruguera, who's the director of those programs, is very insistent that the students take this course, or there's another course in the information systems program, which a lot of those students take, which is equivalent, is another Java course. Then there's the next, so that's the first course. The second course we'll talk about is the fundamentals of the IoT course, which is a very broad course, covers a whole bunch of IoT technologies. It's breadth more than anything else. The special topic course, connected devices, is more like a hands-on kind of course, building some applications, using a server and using a device. Okay. And then there's data networking, which is also required for because you need to understand the basics of networking, okay? Because obviously the Internet of Things really talks about communications between a device and some sort of a network system. Okay, so I mean, you need to understand that to deal with issues in security and so on. These are all 4 credit courses, and it's possible that you could one or 2 of these could be waived, but I expect that most students will take all 4 of them. Okay. Now, one of the courses here is a special topic course. It's because we started this program, as I say, in the fall. Okay. And even when we started the program in the fall, the fundamentals of the IoT course, there was a second course there, was the special topic, because we offered that for the first time last year as part of the networking program, and the content has become fairly settled at this point, so we were able to create an actual regular course out of it. It has to go through a kind of approval process in the university and so on. And the goal will be that the connected devices course, which which has been offered the first time this semester. We have about 14 or 15 students taking that course this semester. That perhaps at the end of this semester, or maybe not, we'll see how it goes, right? Because we're trying these courses out for the first time. It may become an official course. But I mean, we will have an official course, but in terms of, in this area, but in terms of the content, we might decide, well, that didn't work so well, or maybe we should be doing this. So we're trying to, develop things as we go along. And we're not quite using the students as the guinea pigs, but we're sort of learning about what works and what doesn't work, and what makes up a good program in this area, in this general area. Okay. But this first one here, the Java course, or the language course, is fundamentally basically making students have a language they're going to be able to, an appropriate language so they can build applications. And the last one is basically making sure that students have the appropriate background in networking. Okay. Now, if you have that an appropriate background in networking elsewhere, might be able to waive that, but it is important that you have a good background in IP networking. Okay. Okay. Okay, so these are the two courses. The Fundamentals of the IoT course, which Professor Herrero has been teaching. And he'll be teaching for the third time, basically, because this semester. And these are sort of things he covers in this course. It's a very broad course, okay, dealing with technology and architectures. A few classes on wireless technologies, okay. IoT protocols and middleware, things like MQTT, CoAP, and so on, which are these thin protocols, application layer protocols, because we're operating obviously in the IoT area from very dumb devices, very simple, kind of cheap devices, and so you can't have very complicated protocols. So there's scaled down protocols at the application layer, and obviously scaled down protocols as well at the network layer, and special protocols in the wireless area. So then identification discovery mechanisms, use cases, a bunch of different use cases, and security and privacy, which is a really big topic in this area. And it's probably one of the main reasons that the IoT really hasn't developed as fast as people thought it would, especially in terms of the consumer market. Okay. So that's a breadth course, okay? And then we have a devices course, which I say we're offering for the first time this semester. So focusing there on the different devices, and this time we're focusing on a Raspberry Pi is going to be the application environment, and then you'll use some cloud-based, perhaps a cloud-based, and perhaps more of a localized server approach. How you're looking at both approaches in terms of building an application, okay? And my understanding is that the professor who's teaching is going to focus this semester on MQTT as the application protocol. Okay. But in the future might be different things, right? And so because there are so many. When you go out there into the workplace, some people are using one protocol, some other companies using a different protocol, and so on. Okay, so you need to have an understanding at least of more than one. Okay. Okay, and just basically understanding a lot of the issues in middleware to support that. Okay. And so the idea is you're going to build one or more basic applications as part of this course and exploring these kind of things. Okay, so we're going to see how it goes. As I say, this course has been on for the first time this semester. So we'll see how it goes, and we may make changes as necessary for future semesters. Okay, so you'll probably be taking this probably in the fall, right? Okay. So this semester you're registered for data networking, is that right?
Yeah,
and Java. Okay. So you could take these two courses together probably in the fall, if you want to, or you could take this one and something else, and then take this one the following. I mean, it's up to you. There isn't a rigid timetable, right? But I expect that you would take these four core courses more or less in the first two semesters. Okay. So beyond that, okay. We've only created these two new core courses so far, right? So the rest of the courses we're leaning on existing courses in the university, in the college, okay? And these are the areas that which are available: data analytics, big data, protocols and security, and so on and so on. And then there's also the possibility of doing a project, okay, instead of a one-year courses, right? And some of these areas are more on the business side, the last two. You know, if you want to take project management, all kinds of business courses you can take, but the rest of all these are technical. If you want to take business courses, you're only allowed to take a maximum of 2 kind of non-technical courses. That's all we're allowing, okay? Because we want to make sure that this is primarily a technical program, okay? So we do allow, but there's no requirement to take any non-technical courses. You know, and I expect most students will take purely technical courses. Okay. Okay. Our audience has doubled. Okay, so I've gone through a few slides. I'm up to slide number 9 here. If you, I don't know, point going back through the slides really. We'll just go back talking about the core courses, the 4 core courses, right? Okay, which we talked about briefly. And a lot of students should be taking the Java course. If you know Java already and you're fairly comfortable in Java, you don't need to take it again for you know, 'cause I'm not going to, especially for the connected devices course. This semester we're using Java. I don't know, in the future will it always be Java? Could be C++? I don't know, you know. So I don't want to have you students have to learn too many languages. I mean, you may know these languages already, in which case it makes no difference. But I mean, for whatever course we're going to use operating in here, obviously students need to know that. We're using, so in this course, the connected devices course this semester we're using Java and Python, right? And you learn, if you haven't known Python before, we do cover quite a bit of Python in the data networking class too. So he's requiring both those languages for the connected devices course this semester, which will presumably be a course you will take in the fall, right? Okay. So these are sort of highlights of what's in those 2 courses. Well, the fundamentals of IoT, the actual course description is online now, and you can see that one. This one is not, obviously, since it's a special topic. But as I say, the course description, when we do put it online, may change from this, right? Well, will change from this. It's going to be based on a lot of what happens this semester, how well that course works, and maybe, you know, so hopefully at the end of the semester, we'll be in a position to be able to have an official course prepared, course description ready, but maybe not. We'll see. I don't want to jump the gun on these things. Okay, so in terms of electives, these are sort of general areas, okay, and also a project, okay. So in data analytics, there's a whole range of courses available in data analytics at the university. A lot of them are they're not in our group, right? They're in different places. There's courses in industrial engineering. There's 2 courses there, data mining. I don't teach these courses, so I'm not sure what the difference between those 2 courses are, okay? My feeling is there's a lot of overlap, so you probably don't want to take both of them, right? If you're interested in data mining, okay? And then ECEC, electrical engineering, they've got courses on machine learning and pattern recognition, and then one on advanced machine learning, okay? And there's a star on that diagram indicates that it's got at least 1 prerequisite, okay? The prerequisite for the data mining ones in the IE, if I remember, is probability. You don't have to take the course here in probability. If you know probability before, I think for those courses at least, you can probably convince the professor that you can take the course, right? Without taking an extra course in probability. The machine learning, and again, I think it's a probabilistic base to those courses. So again, then there's computer science, machine learning, and data mining techniques. They're not probabilistic based, they are based on algorithms, okay? So you would need to probably take an algorithms course or have algorithms in your undergrad maybe, it might be enough. Are you computer science or engineering undergrads?
Internet of Things.
Internet of Things, but that was with a more computer science background or?
Computer science, software.
Software, so you do things like algorithms, right? Yeah, so you might be more interested in taking these ones here then, you know. I mean, just a different, you know, whether it's algorithmic based or whether it's got a probabilistic models, is a different philosophy between doing not the same titles, right? Data mining here and data mining up there, but one is more probabilistic and the other one is more algorithmic, right? So that's the difference between engineering and computer science to a certain extent, you know, at least these branches of engineering, computer science. So these are computer science, CS, okay? And they have algorithms I'm pretty sure there's algorithms as a prereq for both those. Undergrad algorithms might be enough, okay, if you want to take either one of those courses. And I don't know about the overlap between those two. I would expect there's some overlap, okay? Machine learning, data mining, they're not exactly the same thing, but they're close. You know, so, you know, you have to figure out, look at the content and see whether or not, if you're taking one, I don't think taking the other you're going to learn that much. Well, you will learn something more, but you want a little bit different. And then there's these two courses here. DS stands for data science. Data science is a relatively new program. It's a bit like the IoT program, but it's joint between computer science and electrical engineering. So this is joint between those two, okay? And again, you see the title, supervised machine learning and data mining and unsupervised. I'm not quite sure what the difference between supervised and unsupervised is, but they're two different courses anyway. And mine, they allow, I'll look at my notes to see what the prereqs are for those. I don't think it's, prereqs here someplace. Maybe I don't. Thought I had. Okay, I thought Can we keep track of all these courses, right? Especially courses that I'm not responsible for. Looking for data science. Oh, okay. Let's get this right. Yeah, pattern, okay. Okay, the introduction to the EECC 5644, Introduction to Machine Learning, has no prerequisites, right? The advanced one is, I think, the other is the 7397. It's got a prereq of stochastic processes, okay, application, applied probability and stochastic processes, which is an EEC course. Or they also allows Computer Science 6140, which is, I'm not sure what that is. Machine learning, okay, so that's kind of a strange choice. I mean, they're saying you have to have either probability, advanced probability at stochastic process, or the computer science course, which is not probabilistic based at all, which is algorithmic based, which is very different. So but that's the way it is, it's written up anyway. These ones here, the data science one, the prereqs here to give you a choice of either the algorithms from computer science or a course on the fundamentals of computer engineering, which is a double E course. It's 7205 for both these courses. Okay, but they're the prereqs. Now, and that fundamentals of computer engineering course has algorithms in some algorithmic work in that, I know that. Okay, so, but if you've got an undergrad algorithms, you probably would not need to take either one of those prereqs. You could probably convince the professor that you have the material. Okay, can't guarantee that, but I suspect you can probably get into either one of those two courses. I'm not talking about this semester, but maybe next semester or the semester after that, assuming it's been offered. So there's a whole choice of data analytics stuff, right? But there's a lot of overlap here too, right? So you need to be pretty careful. You don't want to take, which ones you want to take. I mean, there's too much choice here, really. But a lot of them are being offered this semester and so on. Okay, there's at least 3 or 4 of them being offered this semester. So it's a very popular area these days. Obviously, machine learning and data mining, all that stuff is very popular at the moment. Now, if you want to go into big data, which is a different topic, it's handling huge amount of data, which IoT devices will generate huge amounts of data, obviously. These are the courses you would take for that, okay? And these are all very kind of software intensive courses, okay? And they're both run out of our group. The Information Systems program is these two courses, and the CSYE program, that course there, which is more of a programming course using Scala. The first two are probably the most interest to you. The third one doesn't have any prereqs, the first two does, and the basic prereq there is Java, okay? Unfortunately, well, maybe unfortunately is the wrong word to use, but Professor Bugrara, who's in charge of these programs, these courses, right, he really wants his students to take the Java course, right? So even if you know Java before, he's going to say, you need to take my course. Okay? Now you can argue with him if you want to, right? I don't control that, right? So if you really want to go this software route, now for our connected devices course, which is using Java, I'm not going to require you to take if you know Java already, I'll believe you, right? And allow you to take the course. Because if you don't know Java, you're going to basically have problems with the course, right? Because it's going to assume you know Java, right? But he really wants you to have the course ahead of time. I mean, he's got a huge number of students in these two programs, and it's the only way really he can manage the number of students by having very strict rules, right? And looking at individual cases of students who want exceptions is just too much work, right? Because all students say, well, I know Java, and the question turns out they don't know Java enough. And so they drag the whole class down, or because there are a lot of big classes and cause problems. So anyway, just letting you know that there's advantages, even if you know Java already. There are advantages to taking the Java course, especially if you want to start taking these courses here. Okay. Now, if you want to go more on the regular analytic stuff, you don't need Java for this. Okay. Okay. This is all algorithms and things like that. Okay. You don't need their Java, the actual Java course. You need Java for essentially for our own course, and if you do some sort of a master's project, for example, you will probably build some application, and you maybe use Java there, right? Or any language you want to use. Okay. Okay. Are you with me? Okay. So then we have other electives in the protocol security area. These are some courses here. This is a telecom course, Internet Protocols and Architectures, follows on from the 5350, focus more on things like security. ECE has courses in wireless sensitive networks and Internet of Things. This is more getting down to wireless protocols and things like that. They have a couple of faculty there doing research in that area, if that's what you're interested in, right? And then in computer science and network security, again, you need a good background in networks before you take that. And then I noticed that this semester they're offering a course on wireless security, specializing in the wireless area, which is more probably appropriate to the IoT. There's a lot of stuff going on. The computer science group here at Northeastern is very strong in the security area, so they've got that's where there's real strengths here. Okay. I've had a couple of one student who says he's interested in things like hardware security. We don't have any course in hardware security at this point. Okay, it would fit probably best in electrical engineering, but they don't have a course there, an active course. So, but maybe down the road, maybe a year from now, we might have something. But at the moment, no. Okay. I mean, this is the problem with the IoT is it's very, very broad. It's everything from hardware all the way up to doing things in the cloud, right? It's everything, right? Okay. So we're trying to cover, some areas we cover very well. I think the data analytics area there's a lot of stuff, and then other areas there's a lot less. Then there's the courses on the Information Systems program, web design, user experience engineering, okay? And then there's the goal is that we're going to, over time, perhaps offer some special topics courses in different verticals, in different application areas, like smart grid, healthcare, manufacturing, and so on, okay? These courses don't exist at the moment, right? So don't plan for those courses, but this is our hope over the next couple of years we can add it may be not all these areas, maybe one or two, okay? Depending on where we think, the jobs are to a certain extent, where our students, our graduates can get work. So make sure, a lot of these things, there's not an awful lot happening at the moment. Some areas, a lot of people are talking about things like smart cities and so on, but there isn't an awful lot, huge projects going on in these areas. Not in the US anyway. Okay. And then the last set of slides are pretty much more on the business side, engineering project management, things to be dealing with the engineering leadership, societal impact of the IoT and kind of policy stuff, things, and then some project you can do, independent studies or a full project, okay? At least that's what the goal is anyway. And most of these courses are all 4 credits. Except independent study can be like 1, 2, or 3 credits. It's like a small project. Okay. Okay, so that's really got to do with the electives. Any questions? Okay, I mean, okay. If the questions come to you afterwards, that's fine. I'm around. I'm not going anywhere. It'll be in my office. Okay, so the graduate certificates. Okay, so the college offers also a number of graduate certificates. And a graduate certificate, you need 4 courses in certain disciplines. Obviously, like with a regular degree, you need a GPA of 3.0. You must finish the certificate, so at the same time you finish your master's degree, or at least you can't do it afterwards. It doesn't have to be exactly the same time. It can be finished before if you want to. So the advantage, besides your master's degree, you get a certificate, right? And there's a huge range of certificates, but the ones that probably match up, you see, what you probably don't want to do is take a lot of extra courses, right, to get a certificate. But the ones in data mining engineering from the industrial engineering is probably, you can get most of that, without taking too many extra courses. And the other 2, engineering management, technology, systems management, more kind of on the business side. Okay. But you probably will need to take some extra courses, at least 1, maybe 2, to get a certificate as well. So you have to decide whether you want to do that or not. And the one in computer science engineering is not one that's available to you. Okay. In terms of planning for courses, there's no strict rules, obviously, for taking courses, but there's strong recommendations that the core courses that we've talked about be taken early on. Obviously, I would think that makes sense. And as we say, there's some dependency in between those core courses, like to take the sort of breadth course, the fundamentals of the IoT. You really need the background in networking. That's why we say take networking before it, or at least take it at the same time. So you have that. In planning your schedule, you need to be aware when courses are offered. Not all courses are necessarily offered every semester, okay? But you can go back and look at previous semesters and see what courses were offered, and that might give you some idea. There's no guarantee it's going to be exactly the same, right? But there tends to be patterns like there too, in terms of when courses get offered. Also to take into account is there's very few courses offered during the summertime. Okay, courses are generally in the fall and the spring, especially technical courses. And there's a lot of business courses during the summer, and the summers here you break them up into, they've got a full summer which runs from a semester which runs from May through the middle of August, and then you've got half summer semesters too, where essentially instead of having 1 class or week, you'd have 2 classes a week. So you have like 6 hours, 7 hours of contact time, and very, very intensive courses. They're not great for technical courses because the window is like 7 weeks. You can't, it's just too short. But it's okay for business kind of courses where you do a lot of reading in a short period of time. But for most technical courses in the summer are covered or done over the full summer, because I think they're really hard for students on a half summer basis, the short summers. Okay. One other point is, as international students, you have to be on campus during your last semester and taking a class on campus. And sometimes, because The one semester where the fewest courses are available is the summer 2 semester, which is July and August, right? That's a lot of people take vacation during that time. A lot of faculty don't want to teach during that time, so there's not very much available on ground. Sometimes there's, like, they're online, yes, but on ground, no. Okay. So in spring, these are the 2 I recommend. Okay. Sorry, the semester, yeah. If you, I think I made it already. If you already know Java, you could take Wave It, okay. But I do note here that this course is a prerequisite for many of these CSY and info courses. We talked about that, okay. That a lot of IoT students would like to take. So this has turned out to be an issue already, and so I'm just letting you aware of that. So there's an advantage of taking it. If you were not taking the CSY, the Java course, these are other alternatives. You could take the C++ course maybe, the Fundamentals of IoT course itself, but as long as you've got some prior networking, even if you're taking it at the same time. And data and mining one you could take does require some knowledge of probability, but you probably have that. It's not. I don't think it requires advanced, stochastic processes or anything like that. And then this one here, it's got no prereqs. Introduction to Machine Learning and Pattern Recognition. That's from Electrical Engineering. Okay. And if you go look back at courses, just jumping back here in courses, sort of 5,000 level courses like this with 5 are undergrad courses up to 4,000, right? 5,000 courses are courses that undergraduates and graduate students can take, right? So undergrads can take these courses here. So when you see a course like a 5,000 level course, it's not generally regarded as being an advanced course, okay? It shouldn't, but that doesn't necessarily mean that just because the course begins with a 7, right, that it's necessarily harder, much more advanced than a 5,000. Sometimes it's not, okay? It's, but a 5,000 course means that basically undergraduates can take it. So you would find probably in some of these 5,000 level courses, like undergrad seniors in their final year taking that as an elective because they want to learn something about machine learning or data mining, So, so you really want to go into in detail, maybe you should take in a more advanced course. Because maybe like an introduction may be okay, but you may be better off taking a course that has got more content in it. Just letting you know that. Okay. Okay, advising. Well, the first week is practically over now. You can come by my office during the first couple of weeks, anytime. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 to 4:30. Okay. My office is on the 5th floor of Dana. Okay. Take the elevator to the 5th floor if you haven't been there before. Easiest way to get there, by far. Okay. And regularly in ordinary weeks, it's like 3 to 4 Monday, Wednesday, Friday are my office hours. Okay. Many times the questions you might have can be answered by email. If you just want a kind of yes or no kind of answer, send an email, and that's like, can I take this course as an elective? And you can maybe give a quick reason. I'll say yes or no, right? If you need to follow up with a meeting afterwards, then we can do that. But I mean, a lot of times, you don't necessarily have to come and see me. Okay. Okay, just a couple of upcoming meetings. We're starting up a Internet of Things Student Society. We're going to have a kick-off meeting later on in January. Okay, you'll get an email about that, just letting you know. And we're also going to have a co-op feedback session later this month or early February. We have this generally every semester, every spring and fall semester. Okay, for those of you who are interested in going co-op. This is where it's for students who've been on a co-op come back and talk about their co-op and, give advice and things like that. Okay. Okay. So these are more kind of policy kind of things. Online class and streaming video. When you can take an online class when you're on co-op, if you're in co-op, And if all the unground sections are full, you can take it, right? As long as it's not your last semester. And, okay. The rest of the stuff is, anyway, you can read there. And then independent study and directed studies probably that's really following a prescribed course of study may not really apply. Independent study is really a small project, and a master's project is a big project, 4 credits, and so on. The basic idea is if you have something you want to work on as a project or independent study, you need to come to me with a proposal, probably at least a month before the beginning of the semester, saying, sending me an email, maybe 1 or 2 pages, this is a proposal with some deliverables, say what you're going to do, you're going to build a prototype, demonstrate something, whatever it might be, okay? So it's like a mini research kind of project, okay? But you need to come with the idea for it, right? And then we discuss it and see, maybe refine it, and so on. Okay? And as a master project, it's a bigger project. And it's also possible, in the past I've had students, work jointly on the project too. 2 students come to me, and they say they're going to work on something together, And I had at least one case, and most of the time it's individuals, right? But at least one case where it was 2 students together. Okay, and they did a very good job actually. It wasn't anywhere in this area. Okay, working off campus, you're not allowed to work off campus unless you're on a co-op, CPT, or using pre-OPT, but you can work on campus up to 20 hours a week. Okay, it's the maximum. I'm sure you know that, but just reminding you. And you're not eligible on these programs for any kind of research or teaching assistantship. That's one with a tuition waiver. However, a lot of our courses do require, student help, right? So if you do well in a course, you can apply to be a course assistant, or people refer to them as TAs as well, but more of a course assistant on a course. If you get an A, for one of my courses, you'll send me an email, and we generally, first week of the semester, we decide who gets those positions, right? Be so many hours a week, could be 5 hours a week, 10, 15, up to a maximum of 20, obviously. And you get paid at an hourly rate, okay? And your job, and this could be something like grading assignments, running a lab, providing tutorial help, mentoring projects, could be different, depending on the course, what kind of course it is, okay? But obviously this is not available to you in your first semester, right? Because you have to do well in a course first to show that you really know the material and so on. And then the professor and I will decide, who gets appointed in these positions for each course. If it's a course that's not one of my courses, you have to go to the professor teaching that course or the director of that program. Okay, I have no control over information systems courses and things like that, or computer science courses and so on. But it is possible still to get the same kind of job over there. I know some of my students have got jobs in computer science. Maybe they take a course over there, really impress the professor, and then they ask, can they be an assistant, and they get hired. Yeah, but it gets harder because you're competing with all the computer science students, and they generally want to give preference to their own students first. But no, it has happened, for sure. Okay. We'll leave that for Alison. Okay. Mike, do you want to talk about co-op? And then I have a few extra slides on co-op then, but if you want to do your piece on co-op first? Okay. Okay. I'll pull up your slide here. Where is it? So do I just pass this mic across here? Hello?
Thank you, sir.
Let's just pass it across like that. Is that okay? Okay.
Okay, am I coming through loud and clear there? Hello. Hello. You in my class yesterday? No? Oh, okay. We good? Okay, so hi, my name is Mike Schwartz. I am on the Graduate Engineering Co-op faculty, part of the co-op teaching faculty, if you will. And so I want to welcome you again to the many welcomes you have had. The course that I teach is it's called ENCP 6000. It is called Career Management for Engineers. Okay, and in this course we will teach you many things. Some of the things we'll teach you, let me start by asking a question. Do you both have resumes? Do you have a resume? I have a yes and a no. And how do you feel about your resume? Is your resume in great shape, ready to go out into the U.S. marketplace? It's perfectly formatted and...
I take co-op last semester.
You took co-ops. Were you an undergrad here?
No, I just finished change major for engineering management studies.
Oh, you had engineering management before, were you?
Yeah.
Ah,
Okay. So we'll have to see, we'll have to check on an individual basis about additional co-op for you or not. So, okay. So the course is Career Management for Engineers. If it was just teaching you about resumes or just teaching you to get a job, a co-op job, and we just call it getting a co-op. Okay, so the game plan for this course is really to teach you life skills, career life skills is what I like to call them. It's not just getting a resume together, but getting cover letters together, how to network with other professionals, and literally network when you meet somebody in a supermarket versus when you go to a career fair versus you're actually calling somebody like a through LinkedIn contact that you still don't know. It's like a cold call. So we help you with all those variety of different types of things, of tools, thank you letters, how to go to a career fair and be successful, for example, how to interview and pitfalls to avoid and all sorts of things of that nature. Then we teach you other skills, which is what I call the career life skills, if you will. So things like ethical behavior, things like having the right mindset, dealing with adversity that happens in the workplace, all sorts of things that will help prepare you to be successful and to handle the normal events that happen when you're out in the workplace. You can be successful. And the key thing is that what you learn in the course is something you use over and over and over again. As I tell our students all the time, that even when I changed my career from high tech to come here work at Northeastern, all the things that I teach are all the things that I did. How I re-prepared my resume, how I presented myself through my positioning statement, and sort of how I prepared for the interview and being able to answer questions. So we cover all of this in the class, and then of course we'll also do one-on-one coaching with you, which is accessible to you regardless if you're looking for a co-op. Okay, assuming you both want to have co-ops if you can. You're interested in a co-op eventually?
I want to take this course in next semester.
Okay, well you can take it next semester or you can take it this semester. The only advantage of taking it this semester is you learn a little bit more about it sooner, but you've just come into the university now, right, in the spring?
Yes.
So your eligibility for a co-op, you have to have completed, which is probably on Dr. Riley's slides, you have to have completed an academic year, which is 4 courses. So the most likely scenario for that for you would be next spring. You would be taking a co-op, so it would be fine if you take it in the fall next year. The class sizes now are a little bit smaller, but on the other hand, right now you're still adjusting to the university, so it's kind of a trade-off of how you want to prioritize that. And again, Dr. Riley may have some other comments about that. Let's see what else we have here. We have students, we have many students, of course, that are looking for co-ops. Sometimes we have students come in and say, I've sent my application out to 100 employers and nobody's responded to me. So one of the key things we do in the course is that we teach you sort of how to find the right jobs, the ones that are good matches for your skills, because it's not helpful to anybody really to go apply for 100 jobs. They just don't have, you can't put the right energy into that. There's probably not 100 jobs that are really the right match for your skills anyway. And we'd rather have you invest your time in focusing on the jobs that are good matches for you and prepare properly through your cover letters and approach and interviews with those companies. So we go through all of that with you to sort of try to help you from the very beginning all the way through the whole process to actually getting your co-op. Let's see. And 2 themes that I talk about a lot in the class are preparation and practice. There is no substitute for preparation and practice. For example, one of the things we do is we talk about even the positioning statement, and you can write it down and you can think you know it, but when you say it out loud, it usually comes out poorly initially. It doesn't come out anything like you envisioned it inside your mind when you then say it out loud. So we can practice that with you and teach you how to practice it yourself. Again, honestly, myself, when I do it, I just talk to my mirror. And I do it over and over again, and I laugh at myself because you have to have that kind of humility when you do things like that. We will help you get through that because many times people write, say, great, I got my positioning statement, I'm all set. Then you get in front of somebody at a career fair, and you feel like you have 6 tongues in your mouth, and it just comes out all backwards and mixed up. So preparation and practice are really key. And then finally, learning how to follow up with a company. So if you get to the point where you get an offer, sometimes students have some questions about that offer and they need some clarification. Sometimes there's something about the offer that doesn't feel quite right, or it's a particularly low salary. I'm not a big fan of negotiating for salary. Some people think you should. I'm personally not a big fan of it. It's okay if we have differences of opinion on that, but if there's any discussion to be had, we suggest that you come to us first before you engage in that, because we have more experience in that than you do, and we can help you approach the company in the proper way, which, if you've ever heard the term like win-win, we can make sure that when you're working with a company that no matter what the results of that particular conversation is, you haven't sort of lost your opportunity and you've only left positive feeling and your intention and your excitement about the job, even if whether you get what you're hoping for or not. So other positive things. Okay, so that's pretty much what I have. Do you have any questions about the co-op from how I've described it? The course will help you prep for all of this. And we go through this whole syllabus, if you will, and all focused on helping you get from where you are to getting a co-op job and preparing yourself for a future career learning. Questions? Yes?
Do I need to change my co-op record?
Do you need to change your...
Record. Because my co-op program is in the engineering management, do I need to change to internal things?
You're still currently registered into engineering management?
No.
No. I'm sorry, I don't understand your question. Sorry. Maybe we should do this after the session.
My record is engineering management. Do I need to change this into internal things?
Yeah, if it says engineering management, you'd have to probably work with student services and figure out.
For that in spring 2018? For the co-op course?
But you're registered in the system. Are you labeled an engineering management student or a IoT student?
IoT student.
But then
He's showing me something on his computer that says engineering management. I'm not sure what that is.
Because I take this course on the phone.
oh, your co-op record. You're looking in your co-op record. I don't
Oh,
know
because
if
you're
that
in
makes
new
any difference.
careers, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that makes any difference, does it?
You know what? If you've moved over to IoT, just come see me in my office. In fact, Betty, just send me an email, and I would just be able to investigate this. And if I need to speak with you, I will. But that's part of what we do. We just try to help you get everything settled and straightened out in the right way.
New cool system,
Yeah.
I guess, right?
Yeah, that's New York. When I looked at it the second time, I said, oh, this is the job system. So I'd have to look at your history, because it's not like the everyday case, like a student just shows up, they're here. So once we get into unusual situations, and especially around transfers, they sometimes need a little digging around to figure out the right thing.
Yeah, we just
Okay.
want to make sure that he's not restricted in terms of when he applies to jobs based on what he's labeled. you know?
Right, so we don't actually have that restriction, but we need to get them set up properly. No matter what the bottom line is, we will help you get set up properly. So you can just send me an email. In fact, I'll give you my card right here, because I don't know if it's on the thing. My card has my email right on to make it easier for you. Okay? All right, you're welcome.
So Professor Schwartz will now be your co-op coordinator.
Correct, for IoT.
Even though your system says you're something else, but he knows.
Right, so I will do the best I can to help you get situated.
Yeah, why not?
All right.
All right. Well, welcome again, the two of you. As Professor Riley said, my name is Allison Jacobs. I'm the program coordinator for the Internet of Things concentration. My email address is al.jacobs@northeastern.edu, and my office is located in 130 Snell Engineering, which is attached to Dana, where Professor Riley's office is. So I work in the Graduate School of Engineering on the Student Services team. And so as part of this office, we help students in the following areas. So first and foremost, we help with academics. Professor O'Reilly helps you choose your courses, but then I can help, get over any issues you have with course registration. Next, I help out during your last term, your graduating term. I help and make sure that you've met all the requirements needed for your degree, and I'll let you know if you haven't or if we need to fix your record with any petitions or anything like that. Lastly, I help out with academic probation. Hopefully you never find yourself on academic probation, but if you do, I will work with Professor O'Reilly and we will help devise a plan to help you get off of academic probation. Next, my office sends out many communications. First, we have a semesterly newsletter, and so that includes deadlines that we find that are important for you, events that we feel might be appropriate for your major, or just stuff going around on campus, stuff that you should be aware of. So we send everything to your Husky email, so please make sure that you're always checking your Husky email, or if you don't want to always be checking that, just have it forwarded to your personal email. Next, we work very closely with OGS, or the Office of Global Services, and so we work with them on all academic matters pertaining to your visa. Also, if on any form you find from the OGS and it requires a CVIS contact, I will be your CVIS contact, and so you can always just come and bring me the forms in my office. We also help students with graduate assistantships, but unfortunately those won't be available to you in this program. Today, I want to just go over some resources that are available to you and ones that I find that are very important for you to know, assistance I can provide to you, and responsibilities as a graduate student. So first, resources. I want to stress the importance of the Office of Global Services. If you haven't been over there already, they're on the 4th floor of L Hall. If you have any questions about anything pertaining to your visa or your immigration status or OPT, CPT, employment, tax information, they're the office to go to. They're the experts, and they can help you out with any question you might have. Next, I want to highlight your My Northeastern account. Hopefully you are not having any issues accessing it right now. If you are, please let me know immediately, because this is where you do all of your course registration. This is where your email is. This is where your billing is. Access to your Blackboard is through your My Northeastern account, your Husky card, and a bunch of other things. Next is the registrar's office. This is a really important webpage to bookmark. This is where you can find the calendar, the catalog, registration forms. I want to highlight on the calendar a couple of dates here. So next Monday, the university will be closed, so don't come here. No one will be here. Enjoy the day off. The next date is January 22nd. That's the last day that you yourself can add a course online through your My Northeastern account. If after that date you need to change a course, come see me and we can see if we can late register you for a course, but hopefully we can get your schedule all together before that date. The last date I want to highlight is January 29th. That's the last day that you can drop a course from your schedule, not get a W, meaning withdraw, and you will also get the tuition refund back. If you try to drop a course after January 29th, you will lose the tuition for that course, and the course will remain on your transcript with a W under the grade. It won't factor into your GPA, but it will remain on your transcript. Do you guys have any questions about that? No? All right. Next is the graduate catalog. This will be really great for you to bookmark, because this is where the official curriculum requirements for your degree will be. So as Professor O'Reilly said, your degree is ever-changing. We're still trying to figure out the courses, so yours may change from what's currently in the catalog, but it's just a good baseline to go off of. Also in the catalog are all of our academic policies and procedures, the Code of Student Conduct, and the Student's Bill of Academic Rights and Responsibilities. So it's really important that you take a look at these, familiarize yourselves with what the university requires of you as a student. The next page I'd strongly advise you to bookmark is the Graduate Student Services website. This is where we have the graduate school's academic policies and procedures. You should have been contacted by the admissions team to make sure that you read these and check off that you understand the academic policies. This is also where you can find information on co-op, course registration, especially if you're trying to register for a course outside of the College of Engineering. This is also where our forms are. And so if you click on the forms page, it'll bring you to this page. And so the ones that you will likely use are petitions and also registration override request forms. So this is an example of what the petition form looks like. And so you'll use this if you want to take a course that's not in your curriculum. So as Professor O'Reilly says, if you want to take a course that's not listed among all the courses that were on the previous slides, you use this form. Also, if you want to waive one of the core course waivers, such as if you took the course at your previous university and that you can show that you have prior knowledge, we'll use this form to waive the course from your record. Some assistance that I can provide you, especially in course registration. Right now, you may have encountered some issues when trying to add a course to your schedule, such as a program restriction, a college restriction, a prerequisite restriction. To get over the restriction that you have, you use the override form. And so this is what the override form looks like. And then you will put your information at the top, the course that you're trying to register for, and then check off what kind of restriction error you're getting. And so that will help me try to help get over that restriction. So adding and dropping courses, as you've probably already done this before, once you register for 8 semester hours, the system will not allow you to drop below that. So if you're trying to drop a course and add a course, you'll get an error that you are trying to drop below the minimum hours. And so to get over that, you will click on the drop-down box the course you want to drop, so web drop, and then down at the bottom where it says CRNs, you'll add the CRN or the course registration number for the course that you want to add, and then you'll say submit changes. And so that will simultaneously drop and add the course at the same time. So that's one way to get over that. If you are having issues, you can definitely do it on your own. If you still have issues, come see me and I can help you with that issue. Next, I want to talk briefly about wait lists. Many courses have the option to be added to a wait list. You add that same way as you add a regular course, say submit changes. It'll come up amongst your schedule here, but it'll say waitlisted. And then if you are next on the wait list, you'll receive an email from the waitlist management, and it will say that you have 24 hours if you want to still take the course to go in and register for the class. And so just by receiving that email, it does not register you for the course. You have to go through your MyNEU or your MyNortheastern and click on the drop-down box. It'll say web register next to the course that you've been given permission to register for. Does that make sense? Online courses, Professor O'Reilly briefly went over that. Courses outside of the College of Engineering, such as courses with the prefix of CS or Computer Science, IA, or one from the business school. I unfortunately cannot help you get into those courses, but we have on the website up here directions on what you need to do and who you need to contact, or forms you need to fill out with those colleges on how to get into the classes. So responsibilities as a graduate student here at Northeastern. You are required to maintain a 3.0 cumulative GPA. That's a B average, and you have and you aren't able to get no more than 8 semester hours below a grade of B minus. So you can't graduate with 3 B minuses. You may have to retake one of those courses. So keep that in mind. So what happens if you don't make a 3.0? So that's when our academic probation policy comes into play. We have academic probation 1, meaning that you have to fill out an action plan with Professor O'Reilly on how you are going to get above a 3.0 in the next term. If you are unable to get off of academic probation after that term, you'll be at academic probation 2, and that means that you are dismissed from your program, but you have the opportunity to appeal to Professor O'Reilly and see if he'll give you a 1 semester extension. And so along with that, we will also fill out another action plan, writing down what courses you're going to take and what you're going to do differently in order to get off of academic probation. If after that second time you are still on academic probation, so meaning you're on academic probation 3, you are dismissed from the Graduate School of Engineering. There is another appeals process. You can appeal to the Graduate Appeals Committee. It's a very difficult committee to get past. You have to have a very good reason and show a lot of progress, but you do have the opportunity to appeal to the graduate appeals committee. So in the last year, we had about 100 students on academic probation. We had to dismiss about 7 students. It did come out that some of the students did have personal issues, medical issues, or family issues that prevented them from doing well in the course. They had to leave the country but didn't tell anybody. And so we really want you, if you fall into a situation like that, let your instructor know, let Professor O'Reilly know, let myself know, and then we can probably help you out during that term. But if it goes past that time and you are dismissed from your program or dismissed from the graduate school, there's little we can do. So if you ever fall into a situation like that, just let us know. And if you haven't done so already, please read and verify that you understand and you've read the academic probation policy. If you haven't, I believe by the 19th, we'll put a hold on your account, meaning you won't be able to register for any courses until you show us that you've read the policy. So my regular walk-in office hours are Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 2 to 4 o'clock. When you arrive to our office, we have an iPad where you just sign in with your NUID, what program you're in, and just a brief description of why you're there. You can always email me, come to my office hours. If you need to see me for a longer period of time, so about a half an hour or so, just email me and we can set up a separate appointment. So this week and next week, I'm holding extended office hours from 10 a.m. to noon and then 2 to 4 o'clock. So if you have any issues, please come see me during that time or you can email me. Does anybody have any questions?
I paid the tuition 3 days ago and including health plan in school. So where can I get this health ID card or something to?
I think you'll have to contact the University Health Center, but I can give you their contact information. Yeah.
So should I take my undergraduate grades to some people?
Yeah, if you haven't turned in your transcript or degree verification to our office yet, you need to drop that off at the front desk. Is that what you're referring to?
Sorry?
Is that what you're asking about, like your transcript and degree verification?
No. I mean, I have undergraduate grades.
Mhm.
So should I take this to someone? Okay.
Yeah, so we need to verify that you have a bachelor's degree. And so I think that's what you're talking about with your undergraduate grades. Yeah.
So I don't think it's the actual grades per se.
It's like your transcript.
Transcripts.
Yeah.
Yes. I have a transcript.
Okay.
It says on the transcript you have a degree, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that's what they want to see.
Yeah, so we need to verify that. So someone from the admissions team should have reached out to you. If not, they will soon. But if you want, you can just bring the transcript or the degree verification form or certificate that you might have. Bring that to our office. You can either give us original copies or you can bring the original and just give us a copy of it if you want to keep the original for yourself.
I bring my transcript tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. Yeah, we open up at 8:30, so 8:30 to 5 o'clock, so anytime during those times you can come by and drop off your transcripts. Yeah.
I want to learn more information about the petition form for the course because I want to waive some of the costs.
Okay, so the forms are found on our website, so so if you go to, well, I guess you can go to this website on here. You'll get all the slides, so you can have access to all the websites that I have. But on here, it'll be this petition form. And so you'll just print that out, and would you prefer like a hard copy or an emailed copy?
You can email it to me.
Okay. So you can just fill it out and then email it to Professor O'Reilly, and it will make its way back to my office. I'll sign off on it, and I'll let you know if it's been approved or denied.
So, what should I prepare for the petition form? So, I just take some course in my undergraduate.
So which course are we talking about here?
I send you the emails.
You want to get a waiver from which course?
maybe data networking and the fundamental of Internet of Things.
Well, for data networking, you need to show that you have a good background in IP networking.
I take computer networking and wireless sensor networking.
Wireless sensor networking. Well, then this. If you, in that case, if you have a copy of the syllabus, right?
Yeah.
You could bring them by or send it by email, whichever. Yeah. So that's one, and the other one's Java one too.
I don't want to work Java.
You don't want to work Java anymore. Okay. Okay. But if you have a background in networking, that's good enough. I mean, you don't have to be an expert in networking, but you need to have the basics of networking, obviously, for this. So you may have, if you're using wireless sensor networking, that sounds good, because you've covered that part. But more general and more the application layer protocols and stuff like that, you've covered that as well.
I have a course about for the computer network. Computer networks.
Yeah.
So I know.
Send me a copy of the syllabus, right?
Yeah.
I want to make sure just that you have covered it, yeah. Because I don't want you to get into the course and then realize, he does a little bit of revision in the course. This is Professor Herrera when he teaches that course, but he's assuming you already know it. It's kind of thing. So if you haven't seen it before, you would be a bit lost. But I mean, it sounds like you may be okay.
But the syllabus is in.
But the only thing is, if you want to take any other networking courses, that might be a problem, right? See, because our other networking courses are based on, right, if you want to take any more like the Internet Protocols course, you would need the other one first. I mean, because well, our course will definitely be more advanced than what you've done, right? So if you want to take other networking courses, or you want to take network security over computer science, for example, you need to know a lot of networking very well. So just keep that in mind. If you're not planning to take any other networking courses, that'd probably be okay,
And one of the problems is that the syllabus is in Chinese, so they need to translate it into English.
Oh.
it's a huge work to translate.
Huh?
It's a huge work to translate.
You don't have an English translation, no?
Maybe I need to send email to my professors in the undergraduate school.
Yeah, that'd be useful. Yeah, that'd be useful. Yeah. Because I want to see what topics you covered and things like that. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so, let's see. See what registering for classes, I think we've covered that. Waitlist. Yeah, just the last point down here. As Alison said, there's a narrow window for dropping classes without penalty. Okay, you got about 2 weeks to add and drop, 2 to 3 weeks, okay. 2 weeks to add, 3 weeks to drop. You join waitlists, and if you get admitted to the course, you need to make a decision. You've got a day, 24 hours to make a decision. Then you got to drop one of the other courses, and you got to drop and add at the same time. This 2 week window is a good time to also to check out courses. If you're registered for 2 courses and you're thinking that you might change your mind, it's good to go to the other course, even if you're not registered for it. During that first 2 weeks, professors are quite happy to have other students in the class sitting in. As long as there's seats available, you can sit there and listen and take notes and so on, just to check out a course in advance, because you might want to take that course in the future or whatever. But that's a good opportunity during the first 2 weeks to do that. So you can go to as many classes as you want in the first 2 weeks. Because your next semester, whatever, or future semester, is something you might be interested in taking. Okay, so it's only for the first 2 weeks or so. After that, you have to be registered in the class. Okay. Okay. Co-op. Okay. Talked about co-op. You're allowed one co-op, 4, 6, or 8 months, maximum of 8 months. And has to line up pretty much with the academic semesters. Like you can't start a co-op in November and go through March or something like that. It has to be like in January through April or May. So Professor Schwartz, you've met. The minimum time length of a co-op that I will approve is 13 weeks. If it's less than 13 weeks, I won't approve it. Some students have brought me ones with less than 13 weeks, but they've gone back to the company and have been able to negotiate up to 13 weeks. My feeling is that less than 13 weeks is just too short. Even 13 weeks is short, but I mean, that's the minimum anyway. ENCP is the course. I think if you have the opportunity, you should take it this semester, really, because in the fall there'll be a lot of students. And it's also, if you're working on your resume and things like that, you'll have it finished sooner. Because if it happens, if you're doing it in the fall, you'll be taking classes, working on your resume, and you maybe want to apply for jobs and your resume won't be completely ready. So I just think it's better to do it sooner rather than later. Okay. Even if you're not into a co-op, it's a useful thing to do because you can build up a good resume, and you can learn something about interviewing techniques and so on. Because at some point you're going to be applying for a job somewhere. Okay. Okay. And then when you're on co-op, you register for this particular course here, but that's down the road. And when you're on co-op, you can take a maximum of 1 course a semester. In general, I prefer if you don't take any courses when in co-op, because when in co-op, you're working 40 hours a week, full-time job. You've got a lot of, your employer is going to be expecting a lot from you, right? And a course is going to be a distraction. In fact, some employers don't want their students taking co-op courses at all. Okay. But we do allow, and very often students will take a business kind of course, like a light course. But I mean, in general, I'd say don't take any courses unless you're in a really hurry to graduate or something. But then it may affect the work with your co-op employer, so which is not good. And then you must come back to campus afterwards for at least 1 semester. To go on co-op, you need at least a 3.00. You need to have completed at least 16 academic credits, which probably means that in your case, the earliest you'll be available to go on co-op would be this time next year, January of next year, okay? And incompletes, failed, and W grades, they don't count towards the 16 credits, okay? Academic credits and the co-op course itself doesn't count towards it, okay? Need to complete at least 2 core courses, which I'm sure you'll have done by then, and you need to get a pass in the co-op course, obviously. How co-op works is they will develop a series of positions, the co-op advisor will, but there may not be enough positions for everybody. I'm pretty sure there won't be, so you're going to have to go out and look for jobs yourself, right? So I recommend that. You've been here before, you know that. Go to different companies, go to their websites, and so on. Because when a job does put into the NU Cool system here, everybody jumps on that job applying for it, right? So it gets very competitive, okay? So if you get a position or aware of a position outside, you're better off, I think. Now, obviously, we don't have any track record for IoT co-ops because the first group only started in the fall, so they won't be eligible to go on co-op until May of this year. So I've had a couple of students, I also run the telecom program, and I've had at least a couple of students who got jobs, co-op or IoT kind of jobs, one with analog devices and one with somebody else, I can't remember. Excuse me, turn this thing off. So there's no track history, so we don't have a track history for that. But so I think a lot of jobs will be in the areas, if you're not in IoT directly, it's going to be in related areas such as networking, data analytics, application development, things like that, okay? Or you may get pure IoT opportunities themselves, but we can't guarantee that. There'll be that many of those available, okay? In general, why students are not successful getting a co-op, there are a number of reasons. One is obviously bad grades. If you're below 3.0, you're not allowed to go on co-op. You're going to be in academic probation. And that's what you have to worry about. You don't want to be there. And sometimes students basically sort of stop trying to get a co-op. Getting a co-op can be a lot of work, right? because you got to go send in a lot of applications, contact companies, review the companies, see what they're doing, and so on. So you really, you're well educated in terms of what the company's goals are and so on, what they're trying to do, and so it's a lot of work for basically finding a job, basically. And the third one is English language skills, because one of the first steps in getting a co-op, once you've sent your resume in and expressed your interest in you, they'll want to do an interview. And these days, these interviews are generally done over the phone, a technical interview. They can be up to 2 hours long, okay? Very detailed, exhausting. And if your English language skills are not great, you're going to have problems, okay? So, I'm saying be prepared, okay, for that. Okay. Be ready. Okay, we don't need that. Petition requests, I think we've talked about that. Academic probation, we've talked about that. School forms, yes. Attendance policy, just a note here, that I expect students to be here at the beginning of a semester. Sometimes students come back late from a semester. They take an extended vacation. And in that case, if a class is full and there's a wait list, I'm going to give priority to students on the wait list, okay, as long as they're here too. So I will drop students from classes, okay? Because I think it's only fair that students who are physically here be allowed to take the classes rather than somebody who is back in India or China or whatever having a nice long holiday, okay? I know it's nice to spend time with your family and everything, but at the same time, your first priority is to be here and taking classes, so the students who are here should get those opportunity to take those classes. Okay. And if you do miss classes of any course, you are, of course, responsible for the material covered, whether at the beginning of a semester or during a semester. You should not be expecting the professor to give you any sort of special consideration, okay? But if you are going to miss classes, more than one class, you should let the professor know if you're sick or things like that. Let him know that you're not going to be in class. It's common courtesy. Okay. And of course, if there's something more serious than that and you have to leave the country, make sure you let Alison and me know if you've got a family emergency or something like that. Okay. The last few slides are on academic integrity and plagiarism, cheating and all kinds of dishonest behavior, unfortunately, does happen now and then, and has happened to some of my students in the past. So just letting you know that this is something that's regarded as being very serious by the university, and it can lead to dismissal from the university. Plagiarism is essentially presenting your own work or somebody else's work as your work, and it could be basically anything from somebody else's code to borrowing things from the web, in reports and things like that. Anytime you take anything from somewhere else that you didn't develop yourself, you must acknowledge. Okay, that's the basic rule to avoid anybody accusing you of plagiarism. Okay, say I borrowed this from somewhere else. Okay, and identify where it came from. These are a whole bunch of examples of plagiarism. And if you're, in terms of if you're caught cheating and things like that, I've asked professors in the classes, basically, to anybody who cheats an exam or of any sort to get an F, you're given an F for the course, okay? Just letting you know that. And that the student then will also be reported to the graduate school and be approached to this office on campus called OSCAR, who deals with those kind of things. Generally, if you're found guilty of something like this, the first time round you'll get a sanction of deferred suspension. Happens again, you're generally up for dismissal. Okay. I'm sure it will not apply to either of you guys, but just letting you know about this. Okay. That's it. Any questions?
Can I get this PowerPoint?
The PowerPoint, yes.
Where?
Probably the easiest thing, if I probably mail it to you. Probably we're going to put it on a website someplace, but having some issues with a new Blackboard is causing kind of problems. So we'll probably mail them to you, send them by email.
Okay. Sure.
And This is obviously being recorded and will be posted on YouTube, so we'll send you the YouTube link as well.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, that's a lot, right? A lot to cover there, right? So, but you know, not everything is up there. You know, some things are immediate importance, like registering for classes. Other things are things you'll get to later on. You know, maybe next semester and so on. So, but it's a good, you know, fairly complete set of slides there that sort of you may want to refer to in the future, right? Yeah. But anytime you can come and see me if any questions and so on. Send me an email. Okay.
More questions?
Okay, I think we're all set for today. Okay.